Shout out to USARK and all USARK members. If you don't know what USARK is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what USARK is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a USARK member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with USARK organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a USARK member. And if you can't become a USARK member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what USARK is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every USARK member and USARK supporter out there.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. All in the Tree Tuesdays. We're back, baby. Chicken Gizzards. Oh my God. Do we regret everything we said about Chicken Gizzards? Listen, we're going to talk all about it tonight, but listen, this is your first time hanging out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, select all. You'll be reminded of every podcast release out of the network. Lots to talk about, like I just mentioned. But before we do, let's get it with the boys. The mayor of Chondrotown.
Hey,
and low mood fucking Marshall over here, just chill and laid back. Where you at? Your room?
I'm in my bedroom, trying from upstairs tonight. See if we can make it through the episode without anybody complaining about my Wi-Fi.
You sound crystal clear.
Yes.
Yeah. So nice. Except you got that Auburn T-shirt on. I don't know what that's all about.
You guys are still lagging a little bit on me, but.
Oh, great. Okay, if it's that bad, Marshall, you already know. Just exit and come right back in. But it's good on our end, just so you know. So either way.
Looks good, Marshall.
Cool.
Listen, real quick, I want to say the reason why we have not had an All in the Tree Tuesday the last 2 weeks is because what you just heard, that popping sound. Marshall's been partying. He's been raging, going to fish concerts. But let's catch up, man. You've been having quite the time. I guess vacation.
I'm on water. I'm on water.
Okay, didn't mean to judge. I'm
Me
sorry.
Too. Me too.
Yeah, start.
B3. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Bill. What you got in there? I know it's not just
there it is.
There we go.
Stay hydrated.
Okay, but go ahead, Marshall. How's it been?
No, yeah, it's started with Bill's party, and came home that week and didn't fully recover until I think maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. After that weekend, I started feeling semi-normal again.
Right. And
then just in time for fish, for four nights of fish. No, there was one night in between. It was awesome, man. Delic from the party came in on Monday night, took a bunch of snake pictures, and took her to. I was surprised to find out that although she was with Alex and Sal in Texas, she never went into a Buc-ee's. So took her to a Buc-ee's here. Shocking. And man, if I had a camera to record the interaction between a Leeds, Alabama local and Delic with their two accents, oh my God. It was like one was speaking Chinese and one was speaking Arabic or something.
You needed a translator.
Could not understand. It was me.
Dang,
it was fucking awesome though. Yeah. So had a great time. Went to fish. Caught a couple shows, and just trying to assimilate back into society. So it's going medium. It's going medium so far.
Are you pairing up stuff right now, Marshall? Are you at that time, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I've got. I'm not there yet, but I've been food cycling everything, and I have one female that I didn't breed her last year, so she did produce the clutch from the year before, which I've got, I think, just maybe one survivor from. But anyway, she was looking really like she was building follicles, so I threw Versace in there with her, and he's been locking with her for the last 2 weeks or so. So she's not really temperature cycled, and she's not really food cycled, but she just looked like she was ready, and threw him in there. And man, like within the first couple hours, he was all over. And
Nice.
yeah, so fingers crossed for that. And then the other ones, I'm just going to wait out the food cycling. It's still hot as shit here. So, probably here another 4 to 6 weeks, we'll get some cooler weather. And, that'll be like almost 3 months with no food at that point.
Yeah.
So then start pumping them with food and throwing them together and see what happens.
Yeah. And then, Bill, you're still feeling the heat over there as well from what I was hearing with Alex?
Yeah, it's still hot here, but tomorrow, a dramatic drop in temperatures, like down into the low 80s for the next few days. In fact, I'm shipping out the first 6 or 8 chondros tomorrow.
Nice. Oh, badass.
Oh, shipping tomorrow. Wow. That's
Shipping
cool.
tomorrow. Yeah, temperatures look great. So yeah, I'm ready to unleash some of these things. Get them out of here.
All right. Well, Bill, for anyone who had FOMO for missing your party, let's hear it. How overall, what's the assessment? How did everything go? Obviously, me and Marshall were there, and fucking what I'll tell you right now, I had probably one of the best parties, I think.
I think it was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Nobody died. It was
We come with close calls, but
it was close once again.
Yes.
I was literally, this is no joke, 5 seconds away from dialing 911 again. But luckily I had, our bro there, Buddy, who
Knew what to do.
the party was just incredible. The difference this time, when there needed to be some intervention, it was late in the night. It was
dark.
pretty late, and I was already pretty baked. Unlike last year. So I was glad to have Buddy there to kind of, help with the triage, help with the resuscitation of the individual that had too much.
too fast.
It was a close call. Again, I don't want to harp on, the kind of the thing that, took us down there for a little while. But the gentleman at the party was unconscious, agonal breathing, really close, had to, give him jaw thrust to keep him breathing. And he was unconscious. He vomited, which Buddy took the brunt of that. And then, of course, at the end of this, massive downpour. You remember the downpour?
Oh, it wasn't great that happened, but the downpour was, that was a fun experience seeing that. Dude, and then, okay, let's kind of bridge that to homeboy, the homie Mike, who his wife was fucking literally having a goddamn panic attack, thinking she was in the middle of the movie Tornado or some shit. And she had to be calmed down and but honestly, thank God for her, because I was kind of freaking out too. But she, not on her level, I'll tell you that much.
Well, she thought that we're going to have a tornado. We haven't had a tornado here in 20 year. There's not going to be any tornado, but it was a heavy rain. It was a classic Texas, 30, 45 minute just downpour with all the sound effects and stuff, and then it went away.
Yeah, and I want this to be on the record here, because I know what people are probably thinking, like, way to go, MJ, to hurt that fucking poor guy. It was not me this time, first and foremost.
I had nothing to do with it either. So
Marshall wasn't even in the circle. I was there, but listen, I'm not here to tell people do something, don't do it. It just wasn't my weed. I'm not here to tell whose weed it was, but the initials were Jason Amos.
His name rhymed with Amos.
But dude, overall, and I'm glad that guy's, by the way, that guy's totally fine. I saw him the next day at the show. He walked up to me. He's like, dude, I'm okay. And I'm like, oh, thank God. But he now has the Gurney champion belt now. That belt is no longer Kenneth Jordan's. It is now over to him. I forget his name, but you have that belt, buddy. And I hope you keep it. you know, but who knows? We'll never know what next year's going to bring.
I'm telling you, it was very close to being there is no next year.
Wow, no shit, huh?
Yeah, per Kim, right? I'm sure.
Well,
dude.
if I had to call 911 again, the party we'd really have to readdress the situation, but it didn't happen. So we're all good. It was a great party. I think we figured out about 80 people showed up. And it was just great. Had some great people, a lot of first timers, a lot of repeaters.
Yeah. It was fun.
The food situation was good. I think everybody that came had a good time.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have been more pleased with the way that it ultimately turned out.
Same. Yeah, and I do have to say that before we get into tonight and bring everybody on, Bill, you obviously had, I mean, 3 weeks ago, you had a clutch that just laid. No, you had a clutch lay when I was there that night. Okay, so before we get into tonight, let's kind of speed up on what's currently happening with your season, because it's not over as we been talking about. So let's update everyone on how many eggs you got cooking and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so that was a repeat pairing of the flu sickness male offspring bred to a manicory, Bushmaster manicory. I think we ended up with 17 eggs. They all look great.
Wow.
And then the other girl that we ultrasound, who had massive follicles, went on to ovulate the next day. Yeah. And she's in her post-ovulation shed now. So yeah, the season continues to roll.
And so then as far as pairing the other stuff, now you're going to wait for all the other stuff, correct? Until that'll be a couple 2-3 months down the line here to get stuff repaired. Kind of like Marshall, we're still hot here. I haven't even begun to food cycle or temperature cycle. So yeah. Yep. This is the most you've ever done in a year for sure.
Clutch wise, yes. And probably animal wise, if these two clutches progress, and then it'll be my biggest year ever.
How does that feel? I mean, and for you not really taking a break much. I mean, I know you had a little bit of a few months of a window of chilling out with establishment, but
yeah, it's super chill now. Really almost everything is established. I think we're assist feeding one animal that probably isn't going to make it, but the rest of them are, on autopilot now. It's great to be able to walk into the room and feed 50 neos in 30 minutes, or less. Like you, MJ, you just go through them and it's just pop, 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 pop now, which is nice.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Not even gonna lie. But talk about what isn't so awesome, maybe. I don't know. We got Alex Warren kicking it in the background. I don't know about you guys, but I want to get this episode get this show on the road here, because everyone has been on my bumper, Bill, about the Gizzards being a good thing or bad thing. So
yeah.
You want to bring Alex on and get into it, or what?
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So yeah, let's bring him on.
Cool, man. You guys are in for a treat. So do me a favor. Do what you got to do to get your mind right. Do what you got to do to stay hydrated, because Alex Warren is in the building. Chicken Gizzards, good thing or bad thing? Let's find out. Choo!
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes,
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the drop, I love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it.
And we're live, getting down to business. A&W, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. How are you guys?
What's up, Alex?
What's up, Marshall? Bill?
Long time no see, Alex.
Yeah, I know. It's been a minute.
Literally a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely been waiting a lot, like pretty like on edge for this episode ever since we've had this discussion. Obviously, this was found out as I was at Bill's, and we had already had planned to take a couple weeks off. But Gizzards been quite the like trophy like tool to have when it comes to establishing chondros, I would say, for about a year now. Bill, like how long has it been since you discovered the Gizzard trick?
I think this is definitely year 2.
Wow.
I was definitely using them last year, mostly for assist feeding. And then this year I went full bore Gizzard, giving every single Neo that hatched here a Gizzard for at least its first few meals. And then introducing ASFs with the Gizzards. And then eventually, once they got large enough to take mice fuzzies, then I transitioned everything onto mice fuzzies.
And before we get into what you guys been experiencing, you obviously been noticing them growing just by giving them the Gizzards, right, Bill? Like you're knowing them going to the next sheds and all that good stuff just by giving them Gizzards.
Oh yeah, the growth rate on these things has been through the roof. Nutrition wise, it seems like the Gizzards have been a good thing. It really reduced my prolapse rate last year and this year.
Right.
So that was the whole reason for the Gizzards in the first place, was to, one, try to find a food source that was easy to assist feed, 2, that had good nutritional value. And then, this year, like I said, I started utilizing Gizzards off tongs as their first meal. They all took Gizzards off tongs,
right,
which was great. And it seems like Gizzards, for many of the animals, if not most of them, are a preferred food source to pinks. In other words, they would take a Gizzard more readily than they would take pinks.
Right.
So that was great, getting them established too, because they all ate relatively quickly. And
these are all scented, right, Bill? For the record, these are all scented. Like you had them covered in chick down or something.
I think like the first time, I would scent the Gizzard with chick down, but then quickly, like pinks. Most of the time, if you scent a pink and they'll take scented pinks for 2 or 3 times, then they'll revert to taking unscented pinks. Same with the Gizzards. Same progression.
And I know that's mainly to kind of get them to not get used to having that, correct? For overall, it's just something that's something why you would want to stop doing it, just so they don't get in the habit of always having that chick down. Yeah,
for sure. And also trying to get them off Gizzards, because I didn't want them to turn into be just preferential Gizzard eaters as well. So, and we'll get into it later in the show. I'll just mention Tony Hurt. I was talking to him today. He had a carpet python that wouldn't eat anything but Gizzards.
Right.
And so he, of course, we feed them. If they'll eat Gizzards, feed them Gizzards. But what's interesting is he started to notice, literally today, I brought it to his attention, some of these issues that, we were having, and he took a video of one of his carpet pythons that had eaten, I think maybe 6 meals, all Gizzards. And sure enough, that carpet python Neo was exhibiting some of the problems that we were seeing in a few of the Neos that we had here. And then it's kind of a long story. So you can show that video now. Kind of shows some of that erratic muscle movement on that baby carpet. You can see, I don't really know how to describe it other than just kind of abnormal movements. And it's not there all the time, and you don't see it until they start moving, whether they're agitated or you try to get them off the perch or whatever it may be.
So it looks kind of like a spider wobble. That's kind of the closest thing you can compare it to, like the spider ball python, their neurological wobble that they have. Some are more severe than others. The really severe ones, this is kind of what it looks like. At first, it looked like a neurological thing, but as time went on, I kind of connected it that it wasn't.
Well, I think this video kind of show. I didn't, I would say, I'm not gonna lie, Bill. Tony's video, like, I didn't really see an issue that much because it figured out the perch and it's acting normal. But this right here, which I just saw before we went live, kind of makes me understand what you guys are talking about. And this is
this is one of the more severe cases for sure.
Yeah. So look at the body. Look at the lower body almost not being able to like be functionable. Like it's almost like, well, and yeah, I would definitely say that's some sort of like I don't even want to say neurological.
Yeah, that's really weird. That the
It's
first one didn't seem like
much.
it seems like that's not that uncommon, but that to me that's something different.
Yeah.
I mean, this animal has no control over its lower third of the body. Its tail's all coiled up.
Yeah.
It's just, it looks different.
And so, okay, and Alex, why do you kind of take it from here? Like, what have you been noticing? Like, were you the first one to notice this, or was it Bill? Like, and who brought attention?
I'll kind of take it back from where this all started. And,
yeah,
Bill's had, 4, 5, 6 clutches this year, and they all hatched perfectly fine. They all perched normally. There was nothing abnormal right out the gate. And I know that he really wanted to go heavy with the gizzards this year, which I definitely agreed with. So after maybe about 2-3-ish months, we kind of started noticing basically what you're seeing here, like this really abnormal movements in a good percentage of them. I would say like, about 5 to 10% of them. And these were coming from all different clutches. There is happening at my house. It was happening at Bill's house because I have some of Bill's animals over here. And there was no real connection between any of these things except for the gizzards. And it took me, maybe a couple days or so to kind of figure this out, because what really set it off was Bill had given me 2 of the outbreak babies that were not eating, or they were slow starters or whatever. And I took them to my house and I started packing them with gizzards. And after about 1 or 2 gizzards, one of them kind of just took off on its own. It started eating pinks, and that one never got gizzards again. But the other one didn't really start off so well, and I fed it about 5 or 6 gizzards, and that's when it started developing what you see in that video. That video is the other outbreak baby that I have in my house, and that's when it kind of connected in my head that like maybe it is the gizzard. So I went back and looked at all the cards of all the ones that were exhibiting this behavior, and all of them had eaten a good amount of gizzards. I would say at least like 5 gizzards or so. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I kind of, put the dots together, and I, took a couple days because I wanted to figure out the right way to talk to Bill about it. Yeah. And, so, I talked to him, and he, is very, very receptive towards it. And it seems like it definitely could be the case. It could not be, but who really knows?
How many other babies had the same amount of gizzards but did not exhibit this behavior?
Yeah, that's the interesting part. The vast majority did not exhibit that. Even the ones that had been fed 5 gizzards for their first meals, you're talking about really across the board, like Alex said, maybe 5 to 10% of the neos exhibited. Others ate the same amount of gizzards and never exhibited the behavior. But I think it's important that we get this out kind of early, because there's already been questions in the chat about it. Yeah. Is that I think it's reversible. And I say that because the older animals, in other words, the animals that have been off gizzards for 3 months now are not showing the same. They've essentially are not showing that anymore. So I think it is reversible. In fact, Alex and I, all of us got out 2 or 3 animals at the party. And even Marshall, MJ, Buddy said, well, I don't really see that much. In these animals, maybe they're acting a little bit strange, something that you wouldn't notice unless you were really looking for it. And then we got these same animals out yesterday, and it was really unperceivable. They were acting completely normal now. And these are animals, like I said, they've been off gizzards for 3 months now, been eating mice, fuzzies, So I think that it's animal dependent. It didn't seem, like I said, all of my animals got gizzards for their first 4 or 5 meals.
Right.
And only a relatively small percentage of them showed this abnormal behavior. And even the ones that did, it looks like the ones that are getting older, or outgrowing it, or whatever. So I think that's really encouraging. That I think it is reversible once you remove the gizzard as the sole meal source.
And I'll also
this
say,
animal has always done this, or this is
No.
no. Recent?
This is a new thing. So it hatched out completely fine, and then after about 5 or 6 gizzards, it started doing this. But I will say that I just got that animal in that video to take its first pink the other day on its own. So
what have you been doing in the meantime? Because I know you haven't been giving it gizzards, right?
I've just been shoving pinks down its throat.
Say a little bit more nicer, Alex. Jeez. No, okay. So here's the thing, right? I don't know. I wonder, because I was talking about earlier before we went, before we got Alex on here about taking scent away from the prey item, and I'm not sure what's missing to what would cause such a thing in a development in an animal. But I'm wondering if you just kept the chick down on it and not use it, because it's hard to determine what animal you remove the chick down with and who you didn't, right, Bill? Because
I don't think the chick down has anything to do with it. I just think that looking at the nutritional value in gizzards, and some people in the chat have already commented, chicken gizzard is a great protein source. But I did look up. I think you showed what exactly is in a gizzard.
Yeah, I'll pull back up.
So it's high. They're high in protein. They're high in iron, and they're high in a number of vitamins and minerals, and that includes phosphorus, zinc, copper, riboflavin, B12, niacin, and cholesterol.
Yeah,
and it's also lacking in nutrients like calcium and vitamin A. So I think just again anecdotally, just trying to come up with some ideas about what may be causing it. Is it too much of a good thing? Is it too much phosphorus? Is it too much, of these vitamins, or is it too much protein? Is it too much iron? It's hard to say exactly what could be contributing to that. But I think it's safe to say, gizzards, I will not be going back to gizzards as a sole mean of nutrition, for these neos.
right.
I think it was just too much of a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, almost too good to be true.
Yep. I mean, so, again, am I going to go back? Am I going to use gizzards? I am going to continue to use gizzards, but
Yeah.
I'm going to be more selective the amount of gizzards that they're exposed to early. So that's my 2 cents on it. But again, I'm way open to suggestions, and that's why we're having this. That's why we're bringing this up. Again, transparency is very important. If we figure out something that's good, great, spread it. But if we're having some concerns, it's just as important that we, voice those concerns as well. And, even talking with Sal, Alex talked with Sal, and he had noticed it with some of his and Malcolm's animals overseas.
Yeah.
So
And they've been doing the same thing with the chicken gizzards.
yeah, same kind of body movements. Dyskinesia is the term. Somebody threw that out there in the chat. That's the right word. It's abnormal. I think it's more of a muscular than a neurological issue.
Yeah, definitely. I think
so again, just getting it out there. I think, throw caution to the wind. This is a very new modality that we're utilizing here. And with new things comes a certain amount of risk reward. And, I think that's where we are right now, trying to figure out that risk versus reward relationship.
And Marshall, since we're going to go around the horn here, I want to hear what your assessment has been ever since checking them out at Bill's, and then based on what you're seeing on these videos now, What do you think when we're talking about all this stuff?
I mean, if it was every animal, I'm not saying, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying that anything we've said is right or wrong, but the thing to me that's odd is that, so many other ones that had just the same amount of gizzards are fine. Have done it I've used it now for 2 seasons. I've never really noticed, like the animal that Alex showed obviously was an extreme example of what you guys were talking about. But when I was at your house, Bill, yeah, I did notice, a little something, but I would never have, made the connection that it was that it was related to the food item.
Well, I will tell you, Marshall, the animals that we looked at were acting like the Neo in Alex's video when they were that size.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So it was extreme.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was extreme enough for us to, notice something, right?
It was obvious. I don't know about extreme, but it was obvious that there was something going on.
The way that Red Neo was acting, I would notice that right away.
Yeah. So
it kind of reminded me.
That's extreme. That's probably like the worst example of it.
All right. Go ahead,
that kind of reminded me of. Have you guys had Neos that will cigar back when they get?
Dude, I hope thank God handled that. That shit. I've seen pictures of that, bro. I don't know how the fuck does that happen.
But the cigar back is like a temporary thing that usually happens when they're under stress, or it gets cigar back once and then it could never cigar back again.
It is, but the way it moves, it's almost like from where the kink is down. It doesn't have full control, and it just kind of flops around like the first third of that snake did in the video. Yeah. Look at that. Iron and B6 toxicity can cause dyskinesia.
Yeah.
So maybe there's something to it. Would I still use it as a maybe not even a last resort, but like if I had a snake that was not taking pinks, personally, I think I would still go to Gizzards for a second, like one, just something to get them going. But I never did what Bill, even this year, I fed him more heavily than last year, but never more than one at a time. So, I would alternate pinks or fuzzy. Well, once they got to fuzzies, I quit the Gizzards altogether. They maybe had every animal, even the ones that would eat pinks, maybe had 5 Gizzards. And then after that, that was, alternating with, 2 weeks of pinks, a Gizzard, or maybe at the most 1 week on, 1 week off.
And you haven't noticed any of those abnormalities?
Nothing like that. Now, maybe when I saw the animals at your house that had a little slight twitch or slight wobble, yeah, sure. Maybe if I would have been looking for that, yes, who's to say if I would have noticed it or not or seen it, but nothing to the extent of like this extreme case that we're looking at here.
And I mean, and all you have to say about this is I kind of like what Marshall says. I'm not going to use this like as a back burner, but I will, implement it just to kind of get them started. For me, from whenever I use chicken gizzards this year with all my babies, not one baby had more than 2 offerings on the chicken gizzards, and I got them to get something else. But again, I mean, I'm not the only one, and I know there's people that were even commenting on that post in the Chondro page on Facebook that they have had Neos that wanted nothing to do with anything, and all of a sudden fucking went apeshit over a gizzard. So I just feel like that's something that's great, but then find the next move pretty quickly. Don't rely on it. Like don't keep it on it for too long. You know what I mean?
I mean, I wonder if another option would be to scent the pinks with gizzards. Get
the shit out of it no matter what. Anytime I put a gizzard down Neo's throat, it's gonna be scented as fuck. It's gonna be covered for sure. I won't do it.
No, I'm saying scent pinks with gizzards and don't even feed them the gizzards. Just like thaw them out together, or put them in a baggie together and let them.
I did that.
Let them get gizzard juice all over them.
The other thing that I have done, like when I was trying to get, let's say, when I was big into carpets. I would get carpet babies that would eat mice, but then you couldn't get them to eat a rat, right? And, when you want, especially with carpets, you don't want them to be mousers because, you want them to eat rats, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would take a mouse, a very small mouse, and I would use absorbable suture, and I would essentially tie a very small mouse onto a very small rat. And then, they would take that mouse. Huh?
Drag it around, basically? Like, is that what?
No, I mean, it would just be like one prey item, but you would have a mouse essentially stacked on top of a rat, and it would sense that mouse, it would eat the mouse, and then, obviously since the mouse was sutured to the rat, then it would eat the entire meal. Do that a time or two, and then all of a sudden it'll eat rats. So you could do that with a gizzard. You could take a tiny piece of gizzard, secure it to a mouse pink or whatever, mouse fuzzy, and then, try to get them off the chicken gizzards. That way, if they're, a preferential or only gizzard eating neo.
Yeah, especially we were talking about this during sound check, Bill. If it's behind the curve and it's like it gets on a roll where it does want chicken gizzards, but like you could give it another meal. Like I've been getting away easily giving things back-to-back meals. And what I mean by that is like 2 pinks in one serving, and they do perfectly fine. They look full as fuck, don't get me wrong. It's kind of like holy shit, but the shit comes out great and they're perfectly fine. And I did that with a couple stragglers that got going, and I feel like it's a good additive. It's like a supplement. It doesn't hurt. You just got to know how to delegate that supplement and you use it at the right time. You know what I mean? And don't sell a steak that's only eating gizzards for sure.
Yeah, that's for a different conversation. Just kind of wrapping it back into gizzards. My take on it is, after I've digested a lot of information and material, is that I think gizzards are okay, but I think you can, whatever it is, whether it's, a zinc overdose or an iron overdose or a lack of calcium, whatever it is, it probably is not a good item to solely be feeding, your animals.
Yeah. Damn, that means the gizzards take a step back behind the geckos now. It was up here, but now after this, dude, now I'm back to loving the geckos more. What are you gonna do? No, I mean, I don't know. What do you have to say, Alex? I mean, are you on board with Bill with still using it as needed, but not having it be a fucking permanent thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of more on the boat of it being literally a last resort. Like if you literally don't have anything else, then maybe. But I just feel like if these gizzards are causing something, I don't even want to risk it with one, even though I haven't seen I haven't seen any evidence that shows that even one will do anything. I'd rather just wait a week or so to get some more pinks or something like that. But we'll see. I don't really know. I have a clutch cooking right now, and I'm just going to give them only ASF pinks. So we'll see what happens from there.
What about when you have to go to assist feeding, Alex? Are you just going to assist feed ASFs?
Yeah, I'll just give the ASF pinks. It takes a minute, but you can get a full ASF pink down.
We had that happen, and then obviously we did that, and then it prolapsed.
It prolapsed.
But 2 days later.
But that snake was not in.
Yeah, I don't think it was meant to be here. Yeah. Okay, I got to ask you, Alex, because fuck, I think assist feeding, I look at it as not as a nightmare. I mean, it still sucks. I'd rather not, but if I got to do it, I got to do it. But I feel like this year kind of got me a little bit more in a groove where it's like, all right, if I got to assist feed some shit, I have like a good system. And I got to tell you, man, I would struggle anytime I ever try to get something too big down that thing's fucking throat, mainly because they would just fucking like spit it out somehow. And so how are you doing it? I want to hear what you've been doing.
Well, I was actually talking to Juan about this earlier today. So I'm to the point now to where I don't put it in its mouth or get it a little bit down its throat. I'm shoving it all the way down its throat. I mean, this thing is an inch or two past its head.
Oh
and
my
then
God. So it's down there.
it's down there. And so I take the tongs out, I will close its mouth, and then I'll hold it for a minute. And I'll make sure that the snake starts to tongue flick, and it'll move around and kind of distract it from the fact that it's got something in its throat. Because even at that point, if you put it in, it can still spit it out. So you kind of just have to distract them from the fact that they've got rodent in their mouth or in their throat. And once they're moving around and tongue flicking, then you can put them back, and they'll most of the time they'll be fine. Okay. So, but there is no good way. I mean, assist feeding a neonate has always been sketchy. It's never been 100% foolproof. So we're all just trial and erroring this entire thing. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all it is. I mean, we're figuring it out as we go along. And the assist feed thing too. I mean, I will say one thing I'm still glad that I learned from Bill and you, Alex, is like, don't fucking waste any time. I feel like by doing that this year, I would say by the third or fourth assist feed, they just became a different animal. Like they just like, I don't know. I mean, you guys seen it. Like they just have that thing where they turn on, where they actually act interested. And then they go from not interested to like start snapping at it. And then once they start snapping at it, you're on the right path. Like I feel like you're pretty much there once they start striking at it. And I want to give hella props to Juan. Shout out to the homie Juan. But the last, I think 6 or 7 that I had that were like fucking just kind of the ones that were a pain in my ass, that weren't taking any ASFs. And I got so comfortable with ASF because everything else, mind you, 6 out of 67 is not that much. Like I thought ASFs were the fucking number one thing, but I had taken 4 out of the 6 or 7. I can't remember how many there were, but 4 of those went over to Juan's house. And I guess Juan was doing mice peen. But he was using chick down, not quell down. I've been all quell down over here. Sure enough, he got the 3 out of the 4 I sent him to eat fucking that same day or something. And I was like, wow. And I was pretty sure they were going to give him a run for his money. But no, they all ate. And then I did the exact same thing he did to the ones I had here. They all ate. And I was like, what? Really? And so, I don't know, man. Like, again, you got to remember to kind of go down the line of options. And I feel like I just was completely forgetting, like, maybe it wants a mouse pink or have that other option. I was so wrapped around the ASFs that I forgot that some people have just as good as luck with the mice pink. You know what I mean? And also, I think the chick down had an effect too. I don't know. I think the chick down was a little bit. It's more different. It's different texture. It's more fluffier, and I feel like it fucks with them more. I don't know, but shout out to Juan.
Well, the other thing is, we've talked about this a million times before too, is just moving, putting the neos in a different location. A lot of times we'll kick them in. I've seen that happen many times where it's just, ship them to somebody, send them to somebody, put them in a different environment, and then all of a sudden they just kick in.
Take them for a ride.
Yeah, who knows if that had anything to do with it? But who knows?
Yeah, anecdotal experiences
over and over and over.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Because I don't know. It's when do we ever get to a point where we know what the right answer is? I guess I don't know. I don't think we would ever get there with this shit because it's going to be so back and forth. As soon as we think we're onto something, boom, it's going to fuck it all. Something's going to happen to fuck it all up.
It seems like it. It also makes it. That's kind of the fun in it, right?
Yeah, I think that's what creates the game of risk. You know what I mean? It's just all like, if you want to fuck around and try new things, just be prepared for the long-term effect, I guess. And that's what the chicken gizzard thing is happening right now. Like this is the long-term effect of just using it too much.
Yeah. No,
it'll be really interesting to see how that snake that's got the extreme case will be able to bounce back.
Yeah, especially if you can get it. Especially now, Alex, if you can get it. You said it took its first ASF. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one. But I'm telling you, I've had animals here that maybe not quite as bad as Alex's example, but I've had animals at that age that looked pretty close to that, and now 4 months later, they're acting normal. So I'm encouraged that it is something that if it is a toxicity that once it gets out of their system that they can recover from.
Yeah. How old is that snake, Alex?
I don't remember. Maybe
that if it was an outbreak,
Yeah.
pathogen outbreak. So
Yeah. So like
not very old. That was the last clutch that was hatched here. So those animals,
maybe like 4 months. I can
yeah.
look at the card. Do you want me to grab it real quick?
Yeah, go grab it.
Yeah, you can grab the hatch date on it. I don't remember, but the animals that like Marshall looked at, MJ you looked at, and Buddy, the ones that we were looking at were freight trained to pathogen, and that was technically the second clutch here. So those animals are older, have some size on them, and obviously they're eating mice fuzzies. So pretty good size.
We cannot leave out that Ryan Young was there too, holding your designer with a huge smile on his face. He was like fucking, oh my! In his head, I could tell he was like, "Oh my god, this thing is amazing." Just wouldn't fucking say it. Just wouldn't.
He's getting ready to leave the chat.
He's gone. See ya.
Yeah, he's out. We
What do you
lost
got?
him.
It was born on the 19th of May.
Okay, not that old.
So 4 months.
4
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, and the animals, the pathogen, those things are over 6 months old now.
I got pictures, bro. Don't make me fucking pull the receipts up, Ryan. I'll do it right now. I got proof. Excuse me for a second. Keep talking. But anyway, so yeah. So at the okay, I don't know where we're going now.
Don't lose your train of thought. I want to see this picture.
Okay, so overall, Bill, like you would say, because you're obviously at the point where you're shipping some babies out, but other than the one being assist fed right now and the stuff that hasn't been born yet, all those babies are doing well, you said, right? Like the ones that were experiencing whatever signs of the gizzard stuff, that's it, you're seeing it changed all across the board now, right?
Well, yes, but I do have some of the younger ones, some of the same clutch that Alex showed that are, I've got one or two that are still exhibiting that, but it's improved.
Yeah.
And so I think in another month or two now, the animals are now on mice fuzzies.
Right.
So I think, just as time progresses and the chicken gizzards are out of their diet, I fully expect them all to recover and eventually, improve and like the older ones have.
Guys, don't let this guy fool you, okay? If you look very closely,
Oh, look at that smile! Wow,
smile right here.
That's pure joy.
Get the fuck out
Pure
of
joy.
here.
Joy, look at that.
You want to tell me
Like
right
a
now?
kid at Christmas.
Is that a smile or are you jizzing right now? What the fuck? Get out of here, sir.
Ooh.
And show the tracking information. I know you bought it. I was just kidding. Ryan, relax. It's a joke. Okay. I did crack his nuts in this pic and I snapped it at the perfect time while he was smiling to make it look like he purchased it and he didn't. So
I forgot that Ryan had looked at those animals as well, and he can comment in the chats that again, I don't think he noticed anything really abnormal about them. We all kind of passed them around and said, maybe there's something here, maybe there's not. But again, those were the older ones that we were looking at when you guys were here.
hey, I'm gonna frame this shit. This is frame worthy right here. It really is. Just because, like, we all know God works in mysterious ways, and right now, this is God's work right here, bro. This is amazing. Just hey, go with it, Ryan. You'll be all right, pal. No, yeah, and I don't know. I think Ryan did comment though. All jokes aside, right now, Ryan did comment earlier, kind of on the same tip about what Patrick was saying as far as what he feels like is in it, to where he'd rather stay away from it. But I don't know, Ryan, did you see anything that you noticed in the snakes you were holding with Bill? I remember asking him, and I don't think he said he didn't really notice much.
He commented in the chat, MJ. He had a good time. I didn't see anything obvious. So again, that was kind of all of our impression as we passed those animals around.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about animals that are, compared to Alex's example, were 4 times the size, 5 times the size of that animal. I mean, these animals are robust now, and they were always been good eaters. They put on size quickly. And so, the animals that you guys were exposed to they were big, they were big neos. They were older and hadn't had gizzards in months.
Yeah, your neos are big, Bill. Beastie motherfuckers, I will say. But man, I gotta tell you, it's gorgeous, dude. Oh my god, like I just can't stop thinking about the freight train outbreak clutch.
Yeah,
Those were the yellow stickies, right? I believe those were yellow.
Yeah, those were yellow. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Like, they're all great. Don't get me wrong. It's like you draw. I'm sure you think about the same, right, Alex? Like, how can you not like them all? But when you get to that clutch, which it's like one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. That's all I want one day. I'll tell you that much. That shit.
Yeah.
Really anything freight train, they all look like
anything.
that.
You know, I've been telling people that because I've had some people, customers of yours that just recently picked up, like, I guess you gave them options to choose. Like you could choose from this clutch or that clutch. And they had asked me, and I said, dude, anything with freight train involved, you're not going to go wrong. I'll tell you that right now. Like if his name's in the pairing, fucking ship it. Just get it. Trust me. And so, yeah, I think they went with the pathogen freight train, baby. But yeah, your freight train is the fucking truth, man.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast, and he's that one female that we ultrasounded with the big follicles that ovulated was from freight train. So that would have been his third clutch that he sired this year.
Would you think freight train took on, you know, the belt, you know, the torch was passed from Jaeger to freight train? Would you say he's a new fucking king of the castle over there?
I would say production wise for sure. You know, we got Sickness 2.0 that produced a clutch this year. You know, even as a small male, he produced a small clutch. But I'm super excited, you know, to see what he does this year. You know, he's going to get paired with a couple of females, and those Neos. I don't know if you remember seeing those. They're incredible.
Yeah, the ones I really enjoyed were the, you know, and again, I enjoyed all of them, but the ones that were a little bit bigger, the ones that Ryan were holding, those
those were freight train pathogen.
God damn.
Yeah.
Hey, Marshall, we're going to cut to commercial break, but when we get back, can we kind of tap into what pairings you have going this year and what your plan is as far as breeding goes?
Sure.
Cool. It's not like you had an option anyways, pal. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. All right, guys, commercial break. We'll be right back. Sit tight. Hit the like button. See you in a bit. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available Green Tree Python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the Trap. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at SUNDOWN Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Choo! All right, we're back at it. And yeah, I'm just going to show this one more time for the fuck of it, just because I can.
That should be your screensaver.
Should be, yeah.
I want to put that on my phone screensaver. Yeah.
This is definitely when anytime Ryan, not that Ryan calls me every day, but anytime he does call me, this will be popping up on my phone for sure. Anyways, man. All right, Marshall, let's, because we all know you ain't going to sell anything you make this coming year, but we all want to know, because how deep your designer shit goes, in your collection. We want to know what pairings you have in store for 2026 and how many pairings. And I know you're kind of go with the flow type of guy, but let us know what's already kind of brewing in your head, because we're already getting to that season part. So let's get to it.
So it's going to basically be the same as the last couple of years. I will use Versace on any females that as long as he is, willing and able to keep breeding. I will probably continue to use him on any females that I haven't bred him with yet. Just to spread the Posset genes around and, get some good outcrosses for the albino project down the road. Offspring that are not related to him. So as far as numbers goes, I will have 3, 4, 6 females potentially that could be ready to go. Will I pair them all? I don't know yet. Probably. It's just going to depend on, if I put 4 pairs together and things are looking good, will I put the last 2? I don't know. We'll just have to play it by ear and see. What I don't want is, 6 clutches at the same time.
Yeah, you do. But,
that said, I've scaled way back on the ball pythons. I'm down to, I think, under 50 total now. Maybe 40 total, which is like, I've gotten rid of 150, I figured out, since this time last year. So workload has gone down a ton for me, at least right now that, the babies from the chondro babies from last year are all, fully established. It takes 5 minutes to feed them, which has been kind of nice. So yeah, maybe 6 pairings, and it'll be just a mixture of, most of the females are, either Versace tiger stripe or calico tiger stripe. So it'll be a mix of that bred with, him. And I will probably use, as far as males go, besides him, if I have females that are related to him that I've already bred with him once that have proven to be not het, I will breed them with a calico male. I've got this yellow, high yellow. He's probably 50-50 green yellow calico male. Or I have another Versace offspring that I need to really go ahead. He's kind of like the next one, as far as like the most mature male that I have that is also a pos het. So, Versace's 24 years old this year.
Savage. That's so
he's over 24. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Turned 24. So he doesn't have, I don't think he's got many seasons left. So I really need to breed the, kind of second in line to him to figure out if he's het or not. Because I've got about four males that could be that are 50% or 66% pos het just from previous clutches, This particular male is a 2016, really nice looking. He's probably 50-60% yellow, and I've never bred him once. I've just been, he's just been sitting on the bench. So it may be time to give him a shot and see what he's got.
But Versace's that star quarterback for you until he's done. Like that's
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd say breed him to death, but God, it looks like you've already tried and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, yeah, man. He's
crusty ass hemipene that you see there. It's like, put that thing away. It's like makes me. I threw away my bagel looking at that video. I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna eat this shit. No, but yeah, I don't blame you, dude. I really don't, man. That's what a legend, dude. A fucking living legend, legit living legend right there.
Yeah, he's been a great animal. And once again, I've said it a million times, but just the fact that he can produce so many different looks, from melanistic, high blue, high yellow. A lot of animals even have a calico-esque kind of look to them. So yeah, I mean, there's no reason to stop using him if he wants to continue breeding. So I'm going to keep doing it until, like I said, until he's gone.
And looks wise, you have crazier looking shit. Like Versace's not even.
Oh
that,
yeah,
he's not even that wild.
He's green. He's 100% green at this point, except for that big ugly yellow
that's
scale, tick-looking scale he's got on him.
The yellow wart.
Yeah.
That's a signature thing of his, though, man. It's kind of like Robert De Niro and his fucking mole on his face or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's class. But
I've definitely got better looking males than him. But they're just not proven heads. And for the albino project, it's the best thing to continue using him, even if I have better males. And once a female is proven to be not het, then get these other males in there. And I wish there was a way to test these guys like there is, like a shed test like there is for ball pythons. That would make it really easy. But unfortunately, it's just going to be trial and error once Versace dies.
We're not there yet, though. Holding on tight.
No, we're not there yet.
Hey, Bill, I think this is a great question, mainly because obviously there's been a lot of room tours on your fucking place. And I'm sure like people always look like especially me, when I first got into it, I would look at people's room tours of like what direction I want to go with my room. And you do have a bunch of different style cages. And so I want to obviously break that down. Like, first and foremost, do you feel like it doesn't really matter if it's a 4x4 or 2x4? Like you could get these things to breed in the proper cage. And that's why you have so many different styles where it doesn't really matter if you get them dialed in, they're dialed in, or what would you say to that?
Well, I did answer the question in the chats. And, basically I'm much more over functionality than appearance.
Right.
And so, you can breed these things as long as you're providing them with the right humidity and the right temperature and the right size caging. It doesn't really matter how pretty the cage is. So I've had success breeding these things in many different styles of cages. I've even bred a small female in one of the big Cambro tubs. David Brahms uses Cambro tubs for all of his breeding, or most of his breeding. So I think you can do it in so many different ways. And again, I've always been more about functionality. I want people to look at the animal, not the cage.
Yeah.
So as you guys know, the people over at Focus Cube Habitats, I've been friends with them from the very beginning. In fact, the first 2 arboreal cages they ever produced, I test ran. I still have those 2 cages in my room, and they brought 3 cages to me, during the party. So I'm transitioning.
When do they not bring you cages, Bill? Come on.
Never. They're very generous. They've always been, super generous with me, and I just love them as a couple. I love their business. I love their product. So I'm a big supporter of theirs. But to answer the question is, I really just don't care about the I care much more about the aesthetics of the animal than the cage.
Yeah.
I want people to come in the room and go, oh, wow, that's a great animal. Not, oh, wow, that's an awesome cage. So.
I mean, especially when it's your kind of animals, and you're like the same, right, Alex? But I feel like, Alex, you're looking to kind of change some stuff up in your room from what we talked about, right? Like you're looking to maybe have some changes going on in the near future, like cages and stuff like that.
Yeah, assuming these clutches go well for me.
Oh yeah, of course. We need the capital, of course.
You gotta have snake money to buy snake cages.
Yeah,
exactly. God forbid he uses his savings or something. No, won't do that, right?
Yeah. Well, we all three of us know me pretty well by now. I'm not doing that out of my own pocket anymore.
That's smart though. That's actually wise because you're doing just fine with what you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I've got plenty of cages. They all work perfectly fine, and I've gotten plenty of clutches out of them. So they'll keep on going until I got the money to do a complete revamp, which hopefully will be at the end of this year. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, now Marshall, I got to ask you, dude. Obviously, you've gotten rid of a lot of ball pythons. So I'm curious if you get to the point where you got a fucking wall that's kind of empty. What's priority if it came to adding new cages for the chondros? Right, you would say?
Yeah, for sure. I would add more arboreal cages. Yeah.
And we'll put you on the spot. What are we doing? Are we going focus cube? Or are you going to do the old OG?
I'm going OG, man. At this point, I've got visions.
Visions. That's right. And that's cool, dude. Like that. That's what you're like. That's what you grow up with that, and that's like you're comfortable.
Yeah. If Neodesha still made cages, Marshall would have those.
I never liked those. I never liked they're the yellowy kind of looking ones, and the
yellowy.
They're kind of weird shaped in the back.
You can't stack them. They're not stackable.
Yeah.
But they are old school.
They are old school, and I do like that they have a hinge door as opposed to a slider. I don't love the sliding doors on the Visions, but that's my one complaint.
A lot of people like that single mold construction, and that's what the Visions are too, right? There's nothing
nothing to leak. Yeah, nothing to leak, nothing to break. You know, you could throw one down a flight of stairs, and it would be completely fine. They're just super durable. Yeah, which is the best thing. You know, some of mine are coming up on 30 years old now, and they look. You can't tell which ones are which. The ones that I've got some that are 30. The last time I bought any was probably 15 years ago, and they all look the same, man. And they hold up. So they're not the best. They're not the best looking. You know, I wish that. And if I wasn't, if I ever got to where I had more time, or I was more concerned about what the cages look like. If I lit them up, if I just put LEDs in them, that would make a huge difference. At one point, I did have LEDs in all of them, I had like under counter lights, but this was before this was before LEDs, and they would all the humidity would eventually get to them. And then I had a bunch of cages with, 2/3 of them worked, the third didn't, and it was just a pain in the ass. So I just said, fuck it, took all the lights out. But nowadays you could get the LED lights that you could basically submerge underwater, and I could do that, and that would liven things up a little bit, and make the animals stand out a little bit more. But that's not really my main concern.
Marshall, the way your room is and how that light fucking blasted through that window, I wouldn't even need LED lights. Like you get so much natural lighting in that room of yours. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, the only bad thing is that, there is shadows, and the Visions are not great for photographing the snakes inside. So you have to,
take them out.
Unless the sun is hitting them just right and they're perched in just the right spot, it's hard to get good pics of them in the cage. So you usually have to, which is no big deal. I just grab the perch and take them out. And so, yeah, for me, they work, man. I love focus. And if I was going to start over again, that's 100% what I would go with. But, I've got 25 of these things now, or 25-ish. And if I was going to add more, I would probably just want to add the same thing, just because I've got them dialed in. I know I've got the setup for them. I know how to do the perches, where to put the heat panels, all that stuff.
And then Bill, I'm pretty sure every time you do get cages from Ashley and Steven, they're filled immediately. Like you could use those cages. And I feel like you're always in that position where you could use more cages, right?
Well, yeah, basically now I'm to the point where, they brought these cages and Alex helped me move a couple of the old PVC cages that I had. And they were like, you barely move them without, they're so old, you can barely move them without them just collapsing,
Right. Damn.
So yeah, basically I'm just rotating the new with the old, but still, those PVC cages, I'm kind of like Marshall, I've had some of these for 20 years and they still work, they still hold humidity, they hold temperature. It's tough for me to throw away a cage that's functional.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, listen, before we close up tonight, anybody have anything they want to close with? I mean, let's start with you, Alex. Anything you want to talk about? Anything you got to say to the people? You want to say sorry about the chicken gizzards? I'm just kidding. It wasn't Alex's fault. I know I painted that narrative in the stories. I'm sorry, but it wasn't Alex's fault.
Don't kill the messenger, okay? I don't know. I don't know.
You don't have to. It's okay. I don't know if there's anything off the top of your head you want to talk about or anything you got to disclose or anything, bro. The mic is yours right now.
Tell us about what's getting ready to hatch, dude. You've got a clutch in my incubator right now that's literally 5 days from that top cheddar.
The top cheddar Biot clutch. I think day 49 is Friday or Saturday.
Yep.
So that would be exciting to see what happens. I'm feeling a lot more confident about this clutch than a couple of my other clutches in the past. The eggs are really soft and they seem like they're going to do really well. And then I've got 2 more clutches on the way. And so we'll see what happens with those. I never. And
you don't even want to talk about what those clutches are, I'm assuming, right? You don't
one of them is a top cheddar clutch, is a top cheddar sarong. And the other one will be undisclosed for.
Wait, what's the name of the other one?
The other one would be undisclosed for the time being.
I'm glad you said undisclosed because I was getting ready to spill the beans.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, woo! Hey, don't spill the beans in front of Alex Warren because he will lose his mind. I accidentally.
Yeah. Well,
listen,
Dan.
I've seen a ginger upset one time. I never want to see it again.
His cheeks matched his hair immediately. I was like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And he's like, you big mouth. But I get it. It's not important to the poor kid. Let him be passionate about his secrets. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't want to jinx it. I've lost like 3 clutches in the past. Like the best hatch rate I've gotten so far is 50%. So I just don't want to jinx it. The people I talk to, they already know. So, and to be fair, you can if you know my account, you know my Instagram, you can put the pieces together. So to be determined.
Yeah. Even Forrest Gump could connect those dots. You'll be all right. All right, so let's go with you, Marshall. Anything you want to close out with, buddy? Anything? It's been a couple.
I want
to
circle back to the party, and I feel like we didn't talk about the party enough.
Take it away.
There were so many cool people there this time, from all over the place. I think obviously we had Germany, we had Canada. Was there? Am I missing another?
UK.
Sal from
UK. Yeah, Sal.
Oh yeah, UK. Sal. Just. Everybody was so cool, so nice. Chondro people really are a different breed of people. Everyone's super cool. Everyone's nerdy in their own way. You have to be able to do this shit. And
nerdy with style. Nerdy with style, though. Like there's different levels to nerdiness, and I will say, like, Bill's party is my type of nerds. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's up my alley right there. I mean, except for the guy who got the Gurney championships. Not really my cup of tea, but I like you, buddy. It's okay. But anyways, continue, Marshall.
That was it, man. Just Kim obviously is a saint for opening her house up for. I think, Bill, you were entertaining people for 10 days in a row or something like that?
I
8
think
days in a row.
I think it was at least 10 days, and Alex probably even longer than that.
Two weeks.
2
14
weeks.
days.
Alex had 17 people stay with him.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think it's safe to say on both Alex's and my perspective is the party was great. It was great to happen, but we're both glad that it's over. You know, let us rest on our laurels for another 360 days, and then we'll do it all over again next year.
Hopefully, no health incidents next year.
No, that's an annual routine now. We got to keep the tradition going.
It seems that
Who's it going to be? That's the thing. Who's it?
Well, obviously the ball python people can't handle it, so it's going to be another ball python person.
And it serves them right. It should be them. It really should. Like they need a little bit of a reality check. So if you think you're on that level, come smoke me and Marshall's weed or Jason Amos. Fuck, dude. But seriously, if you're on medication, don't either. If you're on medication, don't drink and don't smoke weed. Just take your medication. That's just, I'm not trying to be your doctor, but maybe if you do that, you're safe too. I don't know. I didn't, either way.
Yeah. Also, can I give a quick shout out to the people that stayed with me? Will and his family, Juan, Chuck, Sal, of course. Everyone.
Keep going. Who else stayed? D-Lick.
I know there's one or two more, but I'm sorry, but I can't remember. But it was such a good time. I enjoyed having everyone, and it was such a fun time. It's always fun having Sal come stay for a while, and I look forward to it every year.
Fucking Sal, dude. I think Sal made me laugh more than anybody this trip, dude. And it all started obviously with their road trip, Reptilandia.
Where you spilled coffee in my car for the third time.
Hey, we haven't gotten there yet. Relax, dude.
That was a party foul, man.
Definitely party foul, dude. And then Sal was the second time. It wasn't me the second time. And Sal did it the worst time. And I'm just not trying to make Sal look bad because I want to give him flowers right now. He made me laugh a lot, but low-key, that was his fault on the second time. But either way, though, Sal, man, what a fucking guy. And I feel like nobody makes me feel more jollier than Sal when I'm around him. But yeah,
he's a good energy.
He's great energy, dude. But when shout out to Anna too. God bless Anna, man, Alex's girl.
Yeah.
Who was driving, and we don't want to talk about D-Lick's driving either, because fucking holy shit. Dude, I've never felt like I was in a fucking goddamn action movie, and almost kind of seen
you're gonna die.
There was just so many great moments on that weekend. And I also want to thank you again, Bill, because, all because of you, I wouldn't have flown over there for anything else. And it was one of the best times ever, dude. The memories that we create every time it's a weekend of your party, it's some of the best. And it reminds me why I love being a part of this hobby. It's kicking it with all you guys when it's time. So
that's the best part. The animals are great, but man, I love the community and things like the party and Trap Fest, and those things are really, really, for me, what puts everything together and keeps me going, keeps me doing this shit.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, great episode, boys. I appreciate you guys so much. Good to kind of get things rolling. I'm looking forward to next week. We locked in a guest. Won't spill the beans, but round 2 was something
awesome.
Legendary. It's gonna be awesome. Alex, why don't you just drop where people can follow you at real quick?
Yeah, on Amazing Arboreals on Instagram is the best way to do it. I also have a YouTube channel, Amazing Arboreals, as well.
When's the next video, pal? What's going on with that?
Yeah, you're kind of slow on the videos. What's the problem?
Tell me about it. That's a good question. I'll get on that.
Okay, good.
One of these days.
One of these days. All right, and you guys already know, man, Red Mountain Herbs on IG and the mayor of Phoenix Reptiles. I appreciate all you boys. Give it up. It's a wrap for all the fellas, ladies and gentlemen.
See you next week, guys.
Thank you guys.
See you guys.
Cool.
Have a good night, all right? I'll catch you guys here next week. And appreciate everyone out there who hung out on this episode. I'm really glad we kind of got the Gizzard topic not out of the way, because it's all about learning as we go along. But, man, I know there were some people like myself that were kind of like on edge about what we should do about it. And I hope this episode kind of cleared all that up. So, and if not, go back and re-listen to it. What do you want me to do? But just to remind you guys that you can catch all these Trap Talk episodes on all major audio platforms. There's Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, all the major ones. You can listen to all these. So don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on those episodes. And again, 7 days a week, man, Monday through Sunday, brand new episodes. I just want to remind you that there is that new episode happening bi-weekly here on the network, and that's going to be that Boland's Python Roundtable hosted by Ari Flagel, and he has one of the best Boland Python breeders in the world out of Sweden, Fredrik Essinger. I hope I said that name right, but go check that out. It's going to be happening Friday, 8:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Ari, for being a part of the network, and it's going to be big things popping. And just to remind you guys, Thursday night, we have a big episode with Bob Vu and my boy Emilio Villarino. We're going to be getting deep into some conversations that I feel like people should come tap in for. So it's going to be one for the books. And, of course, thank you again for everyone who hung out on this episode. Appreciate my man Alex Warren. And, of course, Bill Stiegel, the mayor, and Marshall Mendez. Catch you guys here Thursday night. Before you guys go, check out all my sponsors. Find all the links in the description below. Have a good night. Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and plenty other arboreal snakes have been quite the popularity here at the Trap Talk Reptile Network, which brings me to today's sponsor, the Reptile Perch. Head over to the reptileperch.com and Reptile Perch on Instagram. See what type of design PVC perch is best for your arboreal reptile. But first and foremost, I would also check out David Brom's Green Tree Python availability on the website. And you can also check out his Instagram just to stay current on any projects or any productions that he posts. Thank you so much, David Broms, for your ongoing support. Looking forward to seeing what you have to show in the 2025 season. When you think about building a good community and being a leader of that community, nobody comes to mind better than Mark Hager over at Texas Chondros. That's right. Make sure you head over to TX Chondros on Instagram and also head over to Mark's website. See what he has available Green Tree Python wise, and be ready for quite the 2025 Green Tree Python breeding season out of Mark Hager. He's a veteran in the Green Tree Python game, one of the best and nicest breeders in the Green Tree Python game. He's been putting on the whole state of Texas for as long as I've known him. So if you want to see all the amazing other chondro keepers out of the state of Texas, another good reason to go follow Mark Hager over at TX Chondros on Instagram. And again, head over to his website, texaschondros.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thank you so much, Mark Hager, for supporting the trap. One of the biggest growths we have in the reptile industry today are the rare species of reptiles that aren't worked with. That's right. That's why I went ahead and partnered up again with Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. Brian works with species such as kahua geckos, gargoyle geckos, all species of tree monitors. He works with Abronia and many other cool species geckos that you can check out all on his website. Head over to sundownreptiles.com, see what he has available. Brian's one of the best doing it in the reptile industry today. He's been on the show multiple times, so make sure you check out all of Brian Susan's episodes on Trap Talk Reptile Network. But more importantly, for the highest quality of captive bred reptiles, make sure you head over to sundownreptiles.com and make sure you give him a follow on Instagram. Thank you again, Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. One of the things I love about being a part of the reptile industry is all the learning, okay? Learning can be fun, and I can prove that to you. Thank you so much to today's sponsor, Gary Scavino over at GS Reptiles. I highly recommend you head over to his YouTube channel, follow all this man's content when it comes to learning about rare species of snakes you could be keeping in the hobby, and also just finding out how easy a lot of these rare species of snakes are to keep in general. So thank you so much, Gary Scavino of GS Reptiles. Again, head over to his YouTube channel. Also head over to his Instagram to be on top of all of his current work and be ready for a big year over at GS Reptiles. Thank you so much, Gary, for your ongoing support. I really appreciate it. Cheers.